Hi, I'm Heather from booktubes, and today is my first quarter DNF wrap up. I feel like I am always supposed to have a specific intro for this and never remember when I'm filming or making notes to actually write it down. So obviously I DNF a lot of books, I'm sure many of you know this, and I DNF for a variety of reasons at a variety of places in the book. And so I have started doing these wrap-ups because some of you really wanted them. So for the first quarter this year, I have 20 books that I DNF'd, which I think is not bad. It's lower than last year. This is my first coffee of the day, so we are gonna drink it while it's warm. Like, we are just gonna have to work around this. I need some caffeine. Anywho, that shouldn't be there. Why are you there? Oh, I remember, okay. I was like, what on earth? Memory jogged. I figured it out. Okay. Anyways, so I DNF a lot. Here are the reasons. And this is just going to be in the order that they are on this Goodreads shelf. That's all I've got for you. I know it's not chronological order of when I actually DNF them. All right, the first one that I DNF'd was Magic Burns, which is Kate Daniels #2 by Lona Andrews, which I'm sure if you are familiar with my channel, you can understand why I was confused by this. This one I did try to listen to the graphic audio, and I'm just not an audiobook girly. I'm not. I have nothing against them. I think that there are a lot of things like housework that I would enjoy doing while listening to an audio if I could get into them, but I just can't. So I thought, hey, a graphic audio for one of my favorite series, a book that I've read multiple times. Also, the Kate Daniels series is an urban fantasy series with a strong romance in it, but it has a lot of action, it has a lot of different characters, so I thought this might be a really good one because I know my friends love this graphic audio. But alas, turns out I am still just not into it. It was another 24 and 24 attempt, which again, those vlogs have really helped me to like do some things, and this was one of them. Then I DNF'd another reread, which is A Caress of Twilight, Mary Gentry #2 by Laurel K. Hamilton. This is the original Why Choose Monster Romance that I ever read, and it is dark in a lot of ways. I was supposed to be buddy reading this with Steph and Megan and Izzy, but I had a lot of commitment reads at the time, and I was in a huge slump and I was overwhelmed, and this was unfortunately one of the things that I had to let go. I was kind of sad about it, honestly. Then I DNF'd Dark City Omega, which is Beasts of Gadamora #1 by Elizabeth Stevens. I read one chapter of this, again for a 24 and 24. I'm just scared of this author's books, and I don't really know if that's even fair, but the way that she writes is really good, but it stresses me out. Like, I'm in it, I'm with you, we are in danger. And so because of that, I am kind of like, I don't know, I'm just scared, and I think maybe I won't read them. Other people are loving them. Katie Robert loves their books. Robin at Paperbacks and Planners loves their books. It doesn't have to be me, and I can still be very happy that there is a Black author who is gaining popularity in this Omegaverse and alien subgenre. Like, I'm happy for her, but I just think my palms sweat thinking about it. So so I think it's not for me. Even though I do think if I finished one of her books, it would get a decently high rating from me. That's just one of those weird things with me. Then I have Office Hours, which is Curriculum Vitae #1 by Katrina Jackson. Again, this was overwhelm, reading slump. I have this actively on my TBR still. It's marked as one to read on Goodreads, and I do plan on giving it another try, possibly in June, because it fits my reading plans for June. Next, I have Prize of the Warlord, which is Dark Rulers #3 by Rebecca F. Kenny. This is the first book I've ever read by this author. It was not very good. The first one on our DNF shelf that I consider to be not very good. I DNF'd this at 20%. I liked that the main character had chronic illness representation. That was good, but she was, you know, in a keep and she was captured as a hostage for a ransom by this warlord, and they are, you know, the indigenous people of the land. It's in like Ireland or something, so you're still talking white, but I hate when you have a main character being thrust into another society and they allow all of their prejudice and all of their beliefs to color every single interaction, and they are idiots because of it. They almost die because of it. They insult people because of it. They don't try to understand. They don't try to make their own life easier in this hostile environment. Like, I just need you to be smarter about your own survival. And when you are thrust into an enemy society, try to learn the rules quickly. Like, that would be my #1 priority. Learn where not to misstep. Be polite. I don't care if you're seething inside. Hold it together. These characters, they're always, there's another one on this list that I'm gonna have the same issue with. But it's like, they're like, no, I have to survive, blah, 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 blah. And then the second that they're irritated by their actual enemy, they like lose it. I'm like, have you people never had to hold your cool with someone that you didn't like? With a boss, with a coworker, with a teacher, with a peer, with anyone? Like, have you never had to pretend like everything was fine and be polite? Like, your actual life might depend on it, and you can't suck it up for 2 seconds. So annoyed. I just liked her complete disregard for the common human decency, and that, like, she does this thing, I was just like, I'd leave you to die. Like, I'm not having a romance with you at this point. You are the worst. Then I DNF'd The Day the World Stops Shopping, How Ending Consumerism Saves the Environment and Ourselves by Jamie McKinnon. This I was listening to an audiobook for 24 and 24. I've DNF'd all of my audiobooks this year, so that could be an audiobook issue. I DNF'd this at 30%. Might listen again at some point, or I might read with my eyeballs. It's an interesting exercise. Basically, they imagine the entire world stops shopping on a single day, and all of the ramifications and all of the pains of the economy and who needs what. If everyone stopped the exact same day, what was already en route, what is already a surplus, what's already going to be an issue. And it's just like this mental exercise, basically. And it was very interesting, personally, because, like I said in my vlog, we know actively that whole countries are being harmed and have been harmed literally for, you know, hundreds of years because of the West's and more developed countries and colonizing countries' appetite, right? So much of what we buy actively harms the people who were exploited to make it. And so partially because of that, and partially because I'm like into the idea of minimalism and stuff, and just, again, it's kind of like a mental mindset is what I'm most interested in about it. I was interested in this, and I think that I was doing a good job. We hadn't really covered everything. Obviously, we were only 30% in, so I don't know where all it goes, but I would recommend it if it sounds interesting to you. Then I DNF'd Pregnancy, Wrestling, and Dating by Quinna Glide. I was interested in this because it is a wrestling romance, and I watch wrestling with my family. I DNF'd this at 14%. I did not love the pacing, and they were barely talking to each other. She's pregnant from a one-night stand. He's not doing a very good job with that at all. And once I like fully realized that he was 38 and she was like 22 or something, and he was acting like a 24-year-old frat boy, oh, I got the ick so bad. So bad. Like, you're 38 years old. Get your act together. Content warning, tons of vomiting because she has very acute morning sickness, and that is actively on page a lot. So if that's something that you need to avoid, it's pretty prevalent in this book. Next, I DNF'd Bad Feminist by Roxane Gay. I was listening to this on audiobook. This was not really what I wanted though. I listened to 1 hour of the audiobook, but this had a lot of themes of excellence and personal anecdotes rather than like the general philosophy of, I don't know, better ways to be a feminist that I was interested in. That just wasn't really what this book was ending up being. Then I DNF'd Fragile Beginnings, which is New Protectorate 0.5 by Abigail Kelly. This is actually a bind up of 3 different novellas. And the one that I was reading was a demon, maybe, and a fairy. I honestly just did not care. At the point I DNF'd, I was a few chapters in. I don't know what percentage, because like I said, the book is actually 3 novellas. But I read a good bit of that novella, and then I was like, I don't care. I don't care. I'm sure you guys will be fine. Then I DNF'd Feybound, which is Feybound #1 by Sarah L. Arifi. I have nothing good to say about this book. Nothing good. I DNF'd it at 55%. I forced myself to read every page that I read. These characters, I really disliked our main character, honestly. She was clearly, I'm sure she has a great character arc, but I just can't deal with a lot of annoyance to get there, and I was annoyed. I didn't agree with a single decision that she made. She was a soldier through and through. She believed in the cause, and she was obviously going to betray everything and everybody for the love of her life, who, I don't think loves her all that much, to be honest. That's just my take. I could be wrong. I did like the disabled sister that is a prophetess. I liked her more, but she has a prophecy that she's going to kill the man she loves, so she refuses to be in a relationship with him. So she's like hurting him and pushing him away for no reason, even though we all know the prophecy comes true no matter what. Get your act together. You know this more than anyone else. So I found some of the things interesting, but I was bored. I was bored. And to me, again, that just indicates it's just not the book for me. That doesn't mean that the people who love this book are wrong. It means it's for them and it's not for me, and there's no reason to try and force it to be for me when it's clearly not, because I'm not having an okay time. Then I have Forget Me Not by Julie Soto. This is a setup that I don't love, but Izzy at Happy For Now loved this book, so I had it on my TBR. I DNF'd at 35% because I read 2 books back. This was my second book back to back. That was Second Chance and Dual Timeline, and I hate both of those things actively, even though I think that this book would have been a higher rating than the one that I actually finished. It was the second one that I picked up, and I just, you know, didn't have the tolerance, honestly. So she is a wedding planner, which is already not my jam. I don't love wedding subs. I just find it boring. I find it boring and stressful for no reason. And then he's a florist, and we don't know why they broke up. His POV chapters are in the past, and then hers are current. I really liked the writing. I liked the characters. So I liked a lot of things about this, except like it's all tropes that I really avoid. Like, I don't like them. So I would definitely either pick this back up or read a different book by this author, because I really enjoyed their writing, for sure. Then I DNF'd The Librarian, which is Steamy Shorts #2 by Lena Little. This is another one that I've never read from the author. This was my first DNF of 2024 is what my review says. I made it 19 days into the year. Feels like a record. This is similar to Just a Cane, but not great. DNF 12%. 30-year-old librarian lumberjack is really into the popular girl in college. So, you know, probably an 18-year-old. And he had like a hard-on in the library because she asked him for a book. I was just like, I'm good, actually. Then I have Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. DNF this after 1 chapter. Just haven't continued. I would be willing to continue, especially if I had like some sort of prompt or something that this fit really well. I know I like Talia Hibbert's writing. This is a young adult contemporary romance, so that's the main reason why I haven't been overly interested in it, but I would read it if I had a reason to in the future. So not the book's fault. Then I DNF Taming Scarlet by Jessica Gaziel. I read one chapter of this. Absolutely ridiculous. This is Bodyguard has a BDSM relationship with poor little rich girl. That is the setup. And I read the first chapter, which is the bodyguard being told by the father, you know, that she needs like controlled and stuff. And he's like, you know, I can watch this bratty rich girl for a year for $1 million. So it was exactly the setup that I knew it was. And I was like, I hate this, I'm out. Again, it's not the tropes that I love. I do think that I would like this book if I read it. I don't know what I was doing. I don't know. It was dumb on my part. Then I DNF'd Big Boys Need Love Too, A Valentine's Day Short by Wintertime. This is my second attempt at reading this author and my second DNF. They are just not for me. I don't like the writing choices that they make. I DNF'd halfway through, and it is a short novella. I did not love the automatic he's fat because his comfort is food or some of their interactions. There was a really gross like scene where he's at her cafe and he's trying to get her to like him, so he makes her make him food, and then he like burps and she's like cleaning food out of his beard, and they're not together. I was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. This is the final straw for me. I am not into this. So yeah, I just don't like the choices that that author makes, and so they're not for me, and I won't try any more of their books. Then I DNF'd Heartless Enemy, which is Ruthless Enemies #3 by Marian Blackwood. I tried to read this right after reading the second one, and honestly, you just can't really do that with these books. They're not good enough. I DNF'd at 67%. I might pick it back up at some point just because I know exactly the flavor that I'm getting, you know? So if I'm in the mood for that, it would be an easy thing to pick this up and finish the final 33%. This is kinky fantasy romance with a dark mage and a civilian. And at this point, we're on the path for revenge. Then I DNF'd Living Resistance, an Indigenous Vision for Seeking Wholeness Every Day by Caitlin B. Curtice. This was the Community Read Book Club pick for March. It is a nonfiction. I started, I wasn't really into it, I moved on. I don't read a ton of nonfiction. If I do, I want it to be actively engaging me in a way that, you know, I really like. Again, nothing wrong with the book. Then I have Made It to the Mad Marquis, Fae Tricksters #4 by S.L. Prater. This is a winged witch and a Fae lord, and I picked it up because it had Primal play, and I got the Primal play right at the beginning, and it was not good, and I didn't like the way that the plot was going. She gets arrested, and he's like trying to free her, and so I DNF'd at 20%. The thing I picked it up for did not deliver. I was not interested. Then I DNF'd Bad Guy, which is Villains in Love by Ruby Dixon. This is over 300 pages, and if it was a novella, I would have enjoyed it a lot more. I DNF'd it at 50% because I just didn't care. And again, at that point, I've read at like 150 pages, so if it was a novella, I would have read the whole thing. And there was so much like repetitive, like I get it. He's a gladiator, you're a slave, you guys are imprisoned here, you don't have any freedom or any rights, and it's like scary, and you know, just it did not need to be a 300-page book. Absolutely not. Then we're already at the end. Go us. Yes, we are flying through these. Unfortunately, this is maybe going to be a bit of a rant. And I DNF'd Lord of Eternal Night, which is Dark Moon Universe #1 by Ben Alderson. This is Own Voices MM fantasy romance. Unfortunately, this main character was too dumb to live, and I don't know why he was living because he definitely should have died. So I DNF'd it at 42%. He is a witch, and he has the power of the witches, and his entire purpose in life is that he is going to be the sacrifice for this vampire, and on the full moon, when the vampire goes to drain all of his blood, he is going to actually kill him and end the curse. The witches will get back their powers. The vampire will be dead. Wonderful. He did that thing that I absolutely hate. And I still read like 40% more of the book, so go me. But he did that thing where he's like, I've trained for this. I'm more skilled than all you people. I don't need you to tell me what I need to do. I have been training for this my entire life. Everything you've got to say, I've already heard it. Which, like, I get. Like, with your parents and stuff, by the time you're in your 20s, you probably know what they think about just about everything, right? So he walks in the door of the vampire. The vampire shows up. He loses his temper and slaps him and blows the whole thing. He lasted all of 2 seconds. He was not able to maintain his docile facade for even an entire minute. You trained your entire life for this. You have one shot. You need this vampire to be into you. And then he kept using magic when he knows he can't use magic because the vampire can't know that he can do magic. He was just bad at everything. And I was like, my dude, I'm not sure you're the one that's gonna free anybody because you can't hold it together. You're too dumb to live. Why are you still alive? You're bad at this. You're actively bad. You have one job. You had one job. I just absolutely hate that, where they're like, I'm so skilled. Oh, well, he got the rise on me right away, I guess. And I know it's supposed to be banter, but like, it's so dumb. Like, I don't want banter where you are being an idiot. I don't want banter where this person should be into you because you are like, you just, what is entertaining about this? What is clever about this? Nothing. You're too dumb to live, and I kind of wish you would die. So anyways, I was not a fan. And that's it. Those are the 20 books that I DNF'd in the first quarter of 2024. So a variety of books, a variety of reasons. Yeah. Let me know if you have read or want to read any of these. Let me know if there's any that you think I would enjoy more if I did continue them further. I'll be back to talk about more DNFs in July. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.